All right. This is Gus Broman from ETV, and we are live here with Eagan Swim and Dive facing the Prior Lake Lakers for the South Suburban Tilt.
Assistant coaches Justin Haycraft, Andy Rice, and Derek Moulton.
Justin Haycraft is now the assistant coach. He actually used to be the head coach of Prior Lake.
Nathan Pickett, Adam Mellot, Zach Peterson, and Levente Sabo.
All right, we're just introducing the captains for Prior Lake, and shortly we'll be getting to the Eagan Wildcats.
Wildcats are coached by Chris Morgan, and assistants.
Chris Morgan in his 15th year of coaching here. Assistant coach is Tyler Husko, who used to be a swimmer here and former captain. And then Anthony Schmidt is in his 4th year assistant coach. He's a chemist at Ecolab, and he was a collegiate swimmer at lacrosse. So, interesting connection. Jim Marshall is the head official tonight, and his son is Mike Marshall, who is the athletic director at Prior Lake. So, in addition to being the, well, more on the Marshalls later. This is Gus Broman for ETV, and tonight's boys swim and dive competition. This was originally scheduled in December. We had 18 inches of snow, and they needed to postpone the meet due to closing down all of the schools. It was on, I believe it was on December 22nd, 21st. You remember that big snowstorm anyway. So we actually moved it to tonight, which was okay. Senior captain Jackson Keller was actually competing at nationals in Florida that evening, and so he was not able to attend anyway. Actually, in that nationals competition, he was able to break the Minnesota record there with Haken Naughton of Lakeville North, Max Castle of Lakeville South, and Evan Kintz at the Rosemount. So we won't see those other swimmers, but we will see Jackson this evening. So from a Wildcat perspective, we're happy to see the champion of the 200 freestyle, 500 freestyle swim for the Cats in this dual meet competition. What's awesome about swimming is that they run the JV heats first, and then they run the varsity heat. So it's a one big team atmosphere, and so we will be announcing this first heat will be junior varsity of the medley relay, starting with the backstroke. your Wildcats will be always swimming on these home meets in the odd lanes, and you'll see the odd lane is on the bottom of your screen. So in lane 3 is Kuldup Ratchabatuni. In lane 5 is Ethan Schumacher. For the Lakers, in lane 2 is Max Heitzman. Lane 4, Alex Prasanna. Lane 6 is Harry Zhang. If you're new to swimming, they always see the faster seeds in the center of the pool. So the races are usually in the center of the pool. Now you see in lane 3, Neelan Ambalam. Lane 4 for the Lakers is Matt Andrasek. Lane 2 is in the water now, Joshua Klo. And lane 5, Paz Badzine. And lane 6 is Connor Kelsey. They're doing the breaststroke, and then you'll see the butterfly coming up next. In the water in lane 4 for the Lakers is Tyler Long. Lane 3 now is Mason Dietering. And then after the butterfly, they'll close it off with the freestyle. Lane 2 in the water now is Alexander Searcy. Lane 5 diving in for the Cats is Gavin Weens. Lane 6 getting ready to go in is Joey Scapel. Last swimmer in the water in lane 4 is Philip Kamakov. And lane 5 is Michael Boom. Diving in right now. Butterfly wrapping up in lane 2 here. And diving in for the Lakers is Nathan Wen. Oop, Nathan Boom diving in now. Lane 6 for the Lakers taking off there is Sam Erickson. One more swimmer in the water here. Sam working in strongly. I'd like to hear the crowd cheer him on here. All right, there we go. All right, now will be the varsity heat. It is medley relay again. Back breast fly free. All right, starting in lane 1, Riley McRoberts. Lane 2 is Jack Clay. And for the Wildcats in lane 3, Miggy San Jose. Lane 5, Aiden Smith for the Lakers. And lane 4 is Ethan Kosen. Lane 6 is Braxton Helmers. Be looking for some clean handoffs here. Let's see how that goes. Touching it nicely, and there they're off. The second swimmers in the water for the Wildcats in lane 1 is Braden Hagenbarth. Lane 3 is Alex Bango. Lane 5 is William Wynn. For the Lakers in lane 2 is Jackson Stout. Lane 4 is Levante Zabo. Lane 6 is Alexander Beck. It's tight in the middle, folks. I'm telling you what, though, my money's on this back half of the relay for the Wildcats with the two Kellers going here. It's going to be a quick fly here. You watch this. Keller's going to take him on that underwater there, just going strong. And if I have it correctly, Jackson will be handing it off to his younger brother, Thomas Keller, in that last heat. In lane 4 going against him is Caden Chen. Lane 2 is Griffin Lightning. Thomas Keller, the last swimmer in the water in lane 3. Finishing off in lane 2 was Zach Peterson, and then Lucas Hanna will be diving in. Lane 5, that's Reese Heenis-Cook. And lane 6 is Adam Mellett. And looks like the Wildcats will be taking this by a body length in that medley relay. So they'll be going 1. Prior Lake will be going 2-3 in the relay. Finishing strong there in lane 5. Points are only given for the top 3 relays. So that will, so that'll be eight for the Wildcats and 6 for the Lakers right now. Okay, now we'll be going into that, the junior varsity of the 200 freestyle. So your meet score right now is unofficially, everything's unofficial up here, is Eagan Wildcats 8, Prior Lakers 6. The way that is first place gets 8 points in the relays, second gets 4, and third place gets 2. When it comes to individual events, first place gets 6, second place gets 4, third place gets 3, fourth place gets 2, fifth place gets 1. So in theory, the race could be won by one team and get 6 points, and you could go 4-3-2, get second, third, fourth, and then the other team catches that other point. That is not the way scoring works in college swimming. An interesting detail, when Eagan Wildcats won state in 2015, and they were boys state champions, there wasn't one state championship, one individual winner. Everyone got second through 16, and the team was deep enough, pun intended, to win state just by getting those middle points. So goes to tell you the depth of the team that that Chris Morgan compiled in 2015. In lane 2 for the Lakers is Joshua Clough. Lane 3 from the Wildcats is Gavin Weens. Lane 4, Evan Schabel for the Lakers. Lane 5 for the Wildcats, Ethan Schumacher. Lane 6 for the Lakers is Jack Wheelock. So this is the length of the pool is 25 yards, so down and back is 50, so you do the math, down and back several times, make it 4, and you get the 200 freestyle. So junior varsity is scored separately from the varsity meets. So looking back at the coaching staff here, Chris Morgan is in his let me see here. I can do the math. 15th year as head coach, as I mentioned. Amy Carlson is back as the dive coach. Was not here, I believe it was for 1 or 2 years. And Jason, the owner of North Star Diving, who actually has done, Jason Bauman, has done commentating for ACC, took over for 2-3 years. But Amy Carlson is back. Statistically speaking, through the years, the dive is Eagan Swim and Dive's best event because it's scored the exact same as one event for swim and dive. So another interesting point as we're looking at some of these guys go, if you look in lane 6, that is an 8th grader, Jack Wheelock. In District 196, there was a referendum to raise taxes to have middle school athletics. And so Prior Lake slaps middle schoolers on their high school team, where District 196 actually has middle school athletics. And so, so Dakota Hills has a swim team, and they begin 1 week after the state meet. So this team continues to grow and grow, and so then District 196 just competes. It's Dakota Hills versus Scott Highlands, Scott Highlands versus Rosemount Middle. So we're very fortunate to live in a community that has that depth of swimming and diving, pun intended. And so you'll see come the state meet, you know, Rosemount ends up having a good showing as well as some Eastview, and Apple Valley's been down a little bit in the last couple of years. But we are fortunate to have middle school as a program that's sanctioned and funded by state dollars. Not state dollars, excuse me, district dollars. Okay, this brings us to the 100-yard freestyle varsity here. They're clearing the pool, lining up here. I can let you know before the race starts. Lane 1 will be Harrison Bowie of the Wildcats. Lane 3, Jackson Keller. Lane 5, John Mezaritsky. Going against Keller. And then lane 2 is Blake Vigor. And for the Lakers, lane 4, Owen Dwyer. Lane 6, Reese Haycraft. Good to see the assistant coach's son swimming. Jackson Keller in lane 3 did not compete in high school last year, but 2 years ago he won this at the state meet. So sans a major injury here, he should be good in this race at first place. But it isn't just getting first, it's what time do you want? Do you taper for later on in the meet? That type of thing. So probably not going for personal best, but the race is on the outside here. It's so important to get these other spots here. Really fighting hard there in lane 1 is Harrison Bowie, who swims this a lot as a club swimmer. And then in lane 5 is Johnny Mezaritsky, who's currently in 3rd place. 2nd place is owned by Owen Dwyer, whose older brother was a prolific swimmer for the Lakers. Blake Vigor is in 4th place here. Got to get those extra points here, boys. Keller coming in with 1 lap to go. Johnny Mezaritsky really hanging in there. Also another senior captain. Bowie's trying to get that 5th spot, possibly that 4th spot. He's going hard now. That was a great turn there by Harrison Bowie. The team is jacking it up, and they know that there's points in that outside lane there in lane 1. I don't know if Bowie can get a clean enough turn to catch at that body length. Keller touches in at 1:44.06. 2nd will go to Dwyer. And yeah, Bowie does touch in by 0.2 for that 5th spot. So I'm doing some math here because 9, 10. 10 points there, adds up to 18. So it's 18-12 so far for varsity. The Wildcats are leading on paper. Lakers probably are seeded to take this meet, but you never know on any given Tuesday. So now we're lined up to do the 200 junior varsity. Always a fun one. You're doing all 4 events here in one race. Lane 2 for the Lakers is Michael Bramer. Lane 4 for the Lakers, Prasanna. Lane 6, Philip Kamyakov. For your Wildcats in lane 3, Reese Heenis-Cook. Lane 5, Riley McRoberts. This is the junior varsity. It's always fun to see all 4 strokes in this. That lead goes back and forth, back and forth. Breaststroke is always kind of the differentiator because there's so much difference there. So see the backstroke coming in. Shout out to my wife, Margaret Broman, on the camera 1 here. Also thanks to ETV. I think I saw Josh here tonight, Josh Sibley. I believe Dylan was here as well. Dylan, always supportive of the program. Okay, as we're getting into this breaststroke, the Lakers are going 1, 2, 3 here. it's great to, over the holiday break, Wildcats were able to get a alumni meet in for the first time in 3 years. Last year it was canceled due to restrictions. The year before it was canceled due to the ice storm. So good to get many of the swimmers back and divers back. Actually, in the 14 years I've been involved in the program, is the best diving at the alumni meet that I have seen. So it's good to get a good crew together, about 18, and candidly, I think it was the least amount of active swimmers in college. Jasper Appleton, former winner of the 400 freestyle at state, he's done swimming. He was at University of Milwaukee. But we did have Quentin Steffen, who was back, who's swimming at South Dakota State University for the Jackrabbits. Also came back was Caden Keene, who's swimming for the Pointers at Stevens Point, and Jared Dawson, who's at Gustavus Adolphus for those Gusties in the MIAC. Reigning champions of MIAC swimming for men last year. Jared is a 200, 500, and a mile swimmer for the Gusties. All right, this is getting us to the varsity event of the 2IM. All right, in lane 1 for the Wildcats is Dobbin Chong. Lane 3, Miggy San Jose. Lane 5, Alex Bango. Lane 2 for the Lakers is Braxton Helmers. Lane 4, Caden Cheng. Lane 6, Jackson Stout. Okay, we're starting with the butterfly here. Check out this turn here. Nice turn there in lane 4 by Caden Chung. Ooh, very nice underwater by Miggy San Jose. He's making a run for it in lane 3 there. Once again, the fastest seated swimmers are in lanes 3 and 4 tonight. Good turn off the wall. Let's see, Miggy's underwater. Comes up nice and long. So his underwaters are great, but his backstroke isn't quite as fast as Caden Chung. Now we'll watch them as they go into the wall. They count their strokes off the flag. Nice touch by Miggy. Really good touch in. Miggy does it underwater on the breaststroke. Who knows what's going to happen here. Looking over in lane 1, Dobbin Chong is in 3rd place. Outside Smoke. Braxton Helmers is in 4th place. Lakers are taking that 5th place over there in lane 6 with Jackson Stout. Alex Bango has got the 6th place position. Miggy doing a really nice job hanging on his breaststroke. I don't know a whole lot about Caden Chung in lane 4, but if we can keep it close, Miggy is historically a long distance swimmer, so he'll have gas in the tank for this freestyle as they touch in neck and neck. And look at Miggy go. There's a kick in there. Not only are we excited for that one finish, but in lane 1, outside Smoke with Dobbin Chong coming out of nowhere. Speaking coming out of nowhere is lane 5, Alex Bango. It's getting tighter and tighter in the middle. Oh my Lanta, what is gonna happen? My money's on Miggy, touching in. Oh yeah, there it is. This race is not over, folks. Dobbin Chong battling for that 3rd spot. Is he gonna get it? He certainly is. He gets that 3rd spot. And then touching in lane 5. So if I'm not mistaken, that's a 1, 3, and 5 finish there, and so that's a nice job by the Wildcats adding those up. It's 10. I love it when we go 1, 3, 5, because not only do we get the most points, but it adds up to 10, and I can do that math. And then they get 6, so it's going to be 28 to 18 going into the 50 free splash and dash down and back. So I said earlier that the first heat is junior varsity, but there's also exhibition heats, which means it doesn't score for either. And it's you'll see exhibition heats in the easiest events, which is the 50 free and the 100 free. And so we have 1 exhibition heat tonight. And what that means is it's a heat to give guys practice on the boards and on the diving blocks and diving in that water, getting them prepared for junior varsity here. So
Event 7, the boys 50-yard freestyle junior varsity heat 1 exhibition.
All right. In lane 1 for the Wildcats is Paz Budzin. Lane 2 for the Lakers, Rowan Wilson. Lane 3, Lucas Hanna for the Wildcats. Lane 4, Max Heitzman for the Lakers. Lane 5, Michael Boom for the Wildcats. And lane 6 for the Lakers, Tyler Simmons. And in this exhibition heat, Lucas is just coming out, lights out. First year swimming last year, and boy, did he improve. Touching in at a 29.29. If you don't like that swim, you sure like that number, and I like them both. Nicely done there. Touching in, good exhibition heat. Actually, a lot of fast times. Having most of the, we get one time under 30 and bunch under 40, so it's good to see. Not an easy sport, so to get on those blocks and go down and back, it's quite the deal. This brings us to the junior varsity heat. Reminds me that Coach Chris Morgan always has an open practice for any athletes from other sports that want to come and do the swim practice. That's usually not well attended because swimming is such a difficult sport. Coming off the street to do an event, even just a down and back, is next to impossible. For the Wildcats in lane 1, that's Kuldeep Ratchabatuni. Lane 3, Aiden Smith. Lane 5, Neelan Ambalam. For the Lakers in the even lanes is Adam Melleton. Lane 2, lane 4, Alex Beck. Lane 6, Sam Erickson. And they are going, look at the motors in the back. It's all in the power of the kick. This looks like it's going to be Beck touching in. Ooh, not really, Adam Mellett. So Lakers going 1-2 in the junior varsity here. Good swim there. This brings us to the splash and dash for the varsity, down and back. Don't look back, it's varsity. Thomas Keller is in lane 3. He is ready to go. He is a very good guns in the back on that freestyle. All right, Keller off strong. Lane 1, though, it's Wildcats' Ben Currens. Lane 3 is Thomas Keller. Lane 5, Derek Bango. Lane 2 for the Lakers is Ethan Kosen. Lane 4, Victor Trin. Lane 6, Jack Clay. Keller, is he coming up? He's up. But boy, oh boy, look at this heat coming for Victor Trin. Lane 4 gets it. Lane 5. Very nice swim by Derek Bango, getting sub 23. And then very nice there. And then lane 2, a bit of a surprise, Ethan Kosen. Thomas Keller touching in at a 4th place. So I have to do a little math here. I guess can trust the scoreboard up there, but I'm gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna trust the scoreboard, even though they have it a little bit different than I do. So we'll just let them add up the points. So this is going to bring us into the diving competition. And so there will be 6 divers for the Wildcats. I stand corrected. There will be 5 divers for the Wildcats and 3 divers for Prior Lake. Each competitor will dive 6 dives, and it's scored just as the swim event. So back to the connections in swimming. You have Jim Marshall, who is a scheduler for all the South Suburban Conference for the officials. He scheduled himself to have this meet tonight because he knew it was going to be a good one. And right he is. Ironically enough, his son was a swimmer at Burnsville, Mike Marshall. And Mike Marshall, on that team, his captain was Chris Morgan. who is the head coach of Eagan Swim and Dive. So quite a bit of connections there. And back to Burnsville, you know, really good to see them at the last meet. Definitely a dying program the last 3 years. They had double the swimmers this year than they did the year before. So it's good to see them back on the rise. A little difficult situation there. So you're looking at the Dakota Hills Middle School pool. There's a dedicated diving well, and then there's a dedicated swimming pool. So at Rosemount Middle School, where the Irish practice, there is no dedicated diving well. There's just a swimming pool. So the divers practice for an hour and a half, and then they hand it over to the swimmers, whereas at Dakota Hills Middle School, we're able to have the divers practice at the same time as the swimmers. So definitely increases the camaraderie. Because in reality, the only thing in common between diving and swimming is water. I mean, you can't just take a diver and say, hey, go swim a relay, nor could you take a swimmer out of the pool and say, go dive 6 dives. Which is also probably another reason why Eagan historically has had good diving. And so as you're looking at the camera, you see Jim Marshall giving instructions for the boys, as you can see over the left shoulder. There's a TiVo for the divers that the Booster Club bought, it's 9 years ago. So the divers do their dive, and instead of having the coach say exactly what's going on, they go and they see what they could have done differently. And then they're able to correct that instantaneously. I mean, it's so critical to have instant feedback like that. And with a strong booster club like Eagan Swim and Dive, they're able to provide resources like that. So definitely good to have active boosters in the club that are supportive. So if you want to see some of the big big flops, go to EHS Boys Dive on Instagram. You can see some of those pictures of the TiVos there. So the order of the divers this evening, diver 1 is Sam Johnson, second diver Alex Cahill, third diver is Clark Amon Marshall, fourth diver Luke Schwant of Prior Lake, fifth diver Stone Larson, sixth diver Matthew Weinberger of Prior Lake, seventh diver Owen Kipp, and eighth diver from Prior Lake is Blake Wallen. So generally they take the last 3 divers to be diving varsity, and the first couple divers will be diving junior varsity. So unofficially, I don't have it on the sheet of paper, but unofficially I believe Sam Johnson will be and Alex Cahill will be the junior varsity divers this evening. Sam will be doing a 51-21D for 1 somersault half twist free, difficulty 1.7. Nice clean spin. Legs were a little apart. Officials say 2.5, 2.5, 3.5. That gets us to Alex Cahill, 51-22D. Forward 1 somersault, 1 twist, free 1.8. The difficulty of 1.8, what you do is you take the judge totals, and then you times it by the degree of difficulty. Alex not getting his best dive of his career there. Jim Marshall gives him a 1, 3.5, and a 2. Clark is going to be doing the exact same dive. So you judge at home the 51-22D, forward 1 somersault, 1 twist free, 1.8. Clark gets a nice point. Comes in cleanly, nice and straight. Oh, failed dive. He was facing the wrong direction as he came in, I believe, and so it's considered a failed dive, which is 0 points. Luke Schwant will be doing a 52.11A, back dive, 1.5 twist straight, 1.8. The back dives are, I get nervous when it's a back dive tuck, but a back dive straight is a little safer getting away from that board. 3.5, 4, 3. That gets us to Stone Larson, who had a great meet last week at the Burnsville meet. He'll be doing a 52.31D, back 1.5 somersault, half twist free, 1.8. Takes that deep breath. Mental preparation for this is like no other sport. I mean, really, just knowing that an entire room is staring at you. Very nice dive. Comes around, gets in clean, low splash, 4.5, 5, 4.5. Yeah, that's really nicely done. The Lakers diver, Matthew Weinberger, is going to be doing a 52.11A, back dive, half twist straight, 1.8. Generally, the divers, you start off with an easier dive to kind of ease in, even though they've had warm-ups on the board for, you know, as much time as they wanted. But you still in competition want to kind of start with something easier and kind of build upon that. Boy, was that very little splash. 3.5, 4, 4. This puts us to Owen Kipp, who was in first place after the Burnsville meet. He has a 51.32D, forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist free. It's a 1.8. Expect him to get some air here off this board. He sure does. Gets in really nice and clean. A bit of an angle, but very nice. 5, 5.5, 5. Nice job by Mr. Kipp. Blake Wallen from Prior Lake. 52.31D, back 1.5 somersault, half twist free, 1.8. It's the 8th and final diver of round 1. Very clean. There are 6 rounds of diving, so each athlete 5.5, 5.5, 6. Each diver will be doing 6 dives. Sam Johnson's going to do a 103C, forward 1.5 somersault tuck, 1.6. His easiest dive that he'll do tonight is right here. Nicely done. Overspun a little bit. Got a bit of a splash, but judges agree. 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. Boys were a little slow on the bingo, but hey, when all the judges agree, that's healthy. Alex can do a 103B, forward 1.5 somersault pike, 1.7. Nice spring off the board, gets in clean. That's a nice job by Captain Cahill. 4.5, 5.5, 4.5. Gets us to Clark, who's going to be doing a 104C, forward 2 somersault tuck, 2.2. It's the most difficult dive you've seen this evening, is right here with a 2.2. He's spinning twice. There's 1, there's 2. Can't quite get the feet around, more of a, but. .101A. 4 dives straight, 1.4. Approaches the board, nice tight bounce. Didn't quite get the spring he wanted. 3.5, 3.5, 4. C, forward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.4. So now this is the most difficult dive you'll see so far, is this 2.4. We'll have some 2.8s later on in the evening, but for a second dive doing 2.4. We're getting difficult quick here, folks. Nice spring off the board, gets in clean. Legs came around just a titch late. Weinberger going to do a 203C, back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0. Ooh, boy. And two judges put point to the TiVo and
51-34D.
Jim Marshall getting a little anxious, says we didn't score yet. The announcer was like, hey, I thought it was a failed dive. And Nathan was right, it was a failed dive, but Jim Marshall wanted to flex his power and say he didn't score, and now it is a failed dive. Owen going to do a 51-34D forward 1.5 somersault, 2 twist free, 2.6. That's a clean dive, folks. Very nice. When you multiply that by 2.6, that's some nice scores. Should mention, going into diving, the Wildcats are up 32-30, so it is definitely a tight meet here. Blake doing a 2.5 dive here. Back 1.5 somersault. Ooh, that was nice. Half twist free, 2.5. We'll be starting with Sam, 104C, or 2 somersault tuck, 2.2. Those. He's doing the exact same dive as Alex Cahill, so you can watch and compare these two and score at home. Alex doing the same dive that we just mentioned. Nice spring, gets in. That's a slap. Amy Carlson waves. Gives him a 4. Other two give him a 3. Clark is going to do a 302C, reverse 1 somersault tuck, 1.6. Nice. Luke is going to do a 401C, inward dive tuck, 1.4. I always kind of get a little nervous on the inward tuck, but these divers actually have done it far more than I ever have. I still get nervous. Gets away from the board, gets down fine. No need for concern. So those Lakers, always a point higher if anyone's higher. Stone going to do a 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. That was tight. Oh, very nice. Nice. Mr. Weinberger is going to be doing a 401C, inward dive tuck, 1.4. Weinberger prepping. Nice form, gets in clean. Owen Kipp gonna do a 52-33D, back 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, free 2.5. So this is one of his more difficult dives. He will be doing a 2.8 later on, so good score here, could put him in the lead. Good twist, wandered off point a little bit, but still got the goods delivered. Judges agree with the bingo fives. This gets us to Blake. Gonna do a 203B, back 1.5 somersault, pike 2.3. Ooh, a little whip on the end there with the feet. Like to have that come in cleaner. 4.5, 4, 4. That puts us halfway through of diving. So this starts round 4 of diving with Sam. We'll be doing the same dive as Alex at 302C. Reverse, 1 somersault tuck, 1.6. Three, 3.5, 3.5. Captain Cahill lining up for the same dive. Last year, Alex, due to football, blew out his knee, so he's actually doing the announcing. Good to see him back on the boards again. 3, 3.5, 3.5. Clark at 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Clark lining up here. Nice entry there. Clark getting that good rotation. 4, 4.5, 3.5. Nice air and got the job done. Luke is going to do a 102C, forward 1 somersault tuck, 1.4. Jim Marshall looking up in the stands because there's some chatter here, so I expect him to raise a stink pretty quick here. 3, 3, 2. All right. Stone is going to do a 404C, inward 2 somersault tuck, 2.8. Most difficult dive of the evening so far. Rotation, gets in clean. Bigger splash than usual. Judges agree, bingo, 4.5.
Matthew, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2.
All right, Matthew, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Looking at the dive clock. There really isn't one, but it's fun to talk about. He really concentrates before he goes, so some guys take extra time to do this. Other guys just go from this angle. Got a little nervous how close he was to the board, but I'm sure he was fine. 3, 3.5, 3.5. Owen Kipp is going to send a forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6. So 105B dive here. Nice rotation, tight limbs, more of a splash at the end. 2.5, 3.5, 4. Blake is going to do a 303C, reverse 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.1 here. Last diver of the round here. Gets in clean. And Good looking dive. Bingo, 5.5. That ends round 4, so we're starting with round 5. So each of the divers have 2 dives left. Sam gonna do 202C, back 1 somersault tuck, 1.5. His easiest dive of the evening right here. More of an angle than he wanted. 1.5, 2.5, 3. Captain Cahill going to be doing a 403C. Inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Alex, also a defensive lineman on the football team, also plays tennis. Traveled away from the board more than usual, but good dive. 2.5, 3, 3.5. Clark is going to do a 201B, back dive pike, 1.6. Even though he's facing there, he won't be too close to the board. Nice job. Very nice. Good lines there by Mr. Amon Marshall. 4.5, 5.5, 5. This gets us to Luke, who's going to do a 202C, back 1 somersault tuck, 1.5. Jim Marshall looking up into the stands here, seeing who's chatting. There is a dive going on, so hopefully he'll score that. 3.5, 3.5, 4.5. Feeling generous on that one. He is a Lakers fan, I guess. Stone, 204C, back 2 somersault tuck, 2.2. Stone coming off strong off that Burnsville meet. Right. Good rotation, good entry. 4, 5, 4.5. Matthew going to do a 103C, forward 1.5 somersault tuck, 1.6. Very nice entry there. Bingo, 5's across. Owen Kipp going to do a 404C, inward 2 somersault tuck, 2.8. All right, scores come in for Mr. Kipp. 4, 4.5, 4. This gets us to the final round of diving. Each athlete will be doing 1 more dive. Oh, I'm sorry. Blake is still on round 5. He's going to do a 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Very nice execution by Mr. Wallen there. 6, 5.5, 6.5. This gets us to the final round of diving.
402C, inward 1 somersault tuck, 1.6.
Right, Sam, 402C, inward 1 somersault tuck, 1.6. Four and a half, 4. Captain Cahill up now for 203C, back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0. Clark will be doing the same dive, so after Captain Cahill will be Clark Amon Marshall doing the same dive, so 1.5, 3.5, 2. Clark, same dive here, the 203C. Back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0.
2.0.
Ooh, not the dive he wanted there. Failed dive, 0 points. Gets us to Luke, gonna do a 51-21D, forward 1 somersault, a 1/2 twist, free 1.7.
1.7.
Whoa, sends it a little too far. 2-2, 1.5. Gets us to Stone, who will do a 304C, reverse 2 somersault tuck, 2.3.
2.3.
Stone takes that deep breath. Love his approach here. Gets some good air. Gets straight down. Nicely done, Mr. Larson. 5.5, 6, 5.5. Okay, Weinberger's gonna do a 302C, reverse 1 somersault tuck, 1.6. Good approach. Clean entry. 4, 4.5, 5. Owen Kipp's final dive of the evening is going to be a back 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3. It's a 203B here. 2.3 difficulty, so one of his easier dives, so he should be nice and clean. Nice rotation. Entry a little angled. 5, 5, 4.5. The final dive of the evening will be done by Blake Wallen with 105C forward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.4. Nice rotation. Ooh, that was the cleanest dive of the night. 6, 6.5, 7. Of course, Jim Marshall loves the Laker. Number, nice points there. That concludes diving. So that'll be a 10-minute warm-up for the swimmers here. And so this is the midway point of the meet. So if you're at home, feel free to grab more nachos and a beverage and get ready for the back half of the meet. Always starts off with the 100 butterfly, 100 freestyle, 500 freestyle, then the 2 freestyle relay, 100 backstroke, 100 breaststroke, ends with the 4 freestyle relay. Back to the alumni meet. It was a fun night for sure. And actually in the medley relay, both breaststroke record holders for Eagan came back. And Eagan has had historically a strong program, as I mentioned, state champions in 2015, and they came back, and alumni actually went 1-2 in the medley relay. So Chris Morgan knew that his team had some work to do when you have some guys that haven't been swimming can come back and beat these guys, but that was before his long stretch over Christmas break. It's not a break at all for these swimmers. They swim about 6 miles a day, which is quite the task. I mean, have you ever even walked 6 miles in a day, much less swum 6 miles in a day? So it certainly is a difficult task over that holiday break. I remember having 3 boys in this program. You know, you just go to Sam's Club and buy what you can and brace it and just gets it done. So So hoping for a good back half of the meet. The scores for diving always come in quite a bit later than the swimming. You know, obviously for swimming it's down back, touch pads, and then goes up there, and who doesn't really, you know, puts it right up on the scoreboard. So for diving, there's some chugging and numbers and verifications with the official, making sure they know what's going on. So it usually takes a while to score diving. So at this point, with the Wildcats being up 32-30 over the Lakers, it'll probably be until the 500-yard freestyle junior varsity before we can catch up with the total score. So obviously a little bit different than other sports where you always know what the score is at all times. So, but comparing all the sports of high school, this is by far the most parent volunteer heavy sport. Looking down at the table, you know, you have four parents down there. One runs a Colorado system, one runs the meet manager software. The Colorado sends times from the pads to the computer, Colorado computer, which puts the times up on the scoreboard. But in order to put the places and the orders, it has to go to the meet manager system. Meet manager system then ranks and scores the meet and is able to give us a total. So definitely complicated. Not to mention, we really appreciate Paul Keller's efforts coordinating with ETV. ETV is so great for our community. Margie and I have had the opportunity to work soccer games, volleyball games, basketball games, and now once again swim meets. So hoping that you're watching online. Feel free to add a comment to let us know that you're watching. So boys getting their heart rate up again, kind of staying loose, and you know, as a parent who's never been a swimmer, this part always made me marvel to kind of go, really? You know, you've just swam that many miles, but yet you swim again and you're not competing. But it's just to keep those muscles warm and loose and fit. You know, as I mentioned, this is coming off the big workout, and then their big invitational tournament will be coming up soon, the Maroon and Gold. So it's kind of a pre-state meet, if you will, where you actually go to the U of M and they're competing with some of the best schools of the state. And in years past, schools from Washington, Eau Claire, and always Nebraska Omaha comes out because it's basically their big meet. Because they are by far I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the Catholic school in Omaha, but is by far the best swim school in the state of Nebraska. So when it comes to their swim meet, they absolutely obliterate people at the state meet. So they come shaved and tapered for the Maroon and Gold invite, which is at the U of M, and it's important for the Wildcats to do well at that meet. It's as I mentioned, a precursor to the state meet. It's the same location. Anytime you can swim in that same water, same lane line, same gutter system as where you'll be swimming in state, it is important. I mean, as you look at the gutter system here, you have the gutter system which rolls down. The walls are low right on the water. At the U of M, there's a little bit of a lip on top that makes it a little bit trickier on the flip turns if you're doing a breaststroke or a backstroke. For freestyle, it's always just a flip turn and you kick the feet, so that's kind of samesies all the time. But another crazy term that you hear in the sport of swimming is it's a fast pool, and I always said, isn't it just as wet as the other pools? But fast pool is determined by the lane lines. If you see our lane lines are kind of a barrel approach. Many pools, they have double lane lines to keep the wake in your own lane. And also on the gutter system, if it just rolls off the top or if it bounces back. And in general, newer pools are faster. And then it's also how do they treat the pool. Historically, when you and I were all kids, it was chlorine and chlorine only, but now there's a way to keep pools clean with saline, and a saline is a salt solution, obviously, and a salt solution obviously is more buoyant than a chlorine, chlorinated pool, so always things to ask. So if you have a close relationship with one of these guys laying it on the line tonight, ask them what pool do you like swimming in, and not to mention the starting blocks. Sandy Setter, the athletic director of Eagan High School, partnered with the Booster Club to get all new starting blocks, and then added that little V step there. You'll see you have to be completely still on a individual start, but on relay start, you'll see guys kind of rocking and almost taking a leap in it. So usually you swim legs of a relay faster if you're on a relay than if you did an individual event, and that's because you can be moving for the start. So. Should mention back to the coaches, the Booster Club at Eagan really values good coaching. That's why they're so appreciative of Chris Morgan, who has coached many guys and to become peak performers. I know Sam Zenner, who went on to a illustrious football career at South Dakota State, still to this day says Coach Morgan was his favorite coach and most inspiring coach. But the Eagan Booster Club says, you know, many of our kids are in club swimming and they have multiple coaches, and so the school pays for a dive coach, an assistant coach, and a head coach, but the Booster Club says we need more, and so that's why Tyler Husko is on deck as a third coach, and then in above and beyond that, that's paid by the Booster Club. Above and beyond that, he's also a paid strength and conditioning coach, where they boys hit the weight room after practice to get stronger. So also very dedicated, and based on if you're a sprinter or long distance guy, will be determining your workout that Mr. Husko is putting together. So also newly engaged Mr. Husko is. So you see that we started this junior varsity 100-yard butterfly. Lane 2, it's an all Laker heat here. Lane 2 is Alexander Searcy. Lane 4 is Gabriel Clayton. Lane 6 is Harry Zhang. What is a Laker? I don't know. Google it. But they will go 1, 2, 3 in this junior varsity butterfly right here. There's one. And as I mentioned, it takes a while to tally up the points for diving, so we won't exactly know what's on the line coming into this varsity heat for a little bit. It's where you wish the 500 was a little sooner, where the table can have a break and start doing some math there. So this gets us to the 100-yard butterfly varsity. Lane 1 is closest to you. That's Reese Cook on the starting blocks there. Lane 3 is Harrison Bowie for the Wildcats. Lane 5 is Ben Currens. Lane 2 for the Lakers is Griffin Lining. Lane 4, Caden Chang. Lane 6, Tyler Long. Expecting Caden Chang to come out strong here. Yes, he is. Harrison Bowie doing what he can to kind of stay tight. Eagan needs to kind of do a 2-3 combo here. We'll see if it can happen. Bowie trying to hang on to that second spot. Lining is coming in hot on that lane 2. Also up in lane 6 is Tyler Long. Chang completely running away with this with 2 body lengths. Bowie coming on strong on that turn. He's coming in. It's going to be tight though between him and Lenning. It comes that last stroke. Boy, that one extra stroke that Bowie took a little bit longer, so Lining touches in at second. Lakers go 1-2. Bowie getting that third spot. And then so the Lakers go 1-2-4. So definitely outpointing there. Getting 12 points is the most that any team has gotten in that in one race. So definitely a turning point in the meet right there in that 100 butterfly with Lakers going 1-2-4. This is an exhibition heat going on here, which means it's one heat before the one late heat before the junior varsity. Lane for the Wildcats in lane 1, Paz Budzine. Lane 3, Ethan Schumacher. Lane 5, Michael Boom. For the Lakers in lane 2, Joshua Klo. Lane 4, Nathan Witten. Lane 6, Jack Wheelock. Lakers doing a nice job going 1-2-3 in this exhibition at the touch here. Usually if you're ahead by 1 or 2 body lengths, you can keep that going into the back half of this race. It's good to see these guys having an exhibition heat. Means that there's guys willing to swim and ready to swim. This is not an easy sport. Putting it all on the line and digging deep. It's good to see. Taking this heat is Nathan Wynn. Then coming in next is Joshua Klo. And then Jack Wheelock for the Lakers in lane 6. The first Wildcat touching in is Ethan Schumacher. Second one will be in lane 5, Michael Boom. Paz Budzine finishing off strong. Keep kicking, man. Keep kicking. It's all in the legs. And there it is, touching in. This gets us to the 100-yard freestyle junior varsity. Oh, we're missing Carlos Conlon in lane 1 here. All right, we'll go without Mr. Conlon. For Wildcats in lane 3 is Braden Hagenbarth. Lane 5, Gavin Weens. Lane 2 for the Lakers is Philip Kamiakov. Lane 4, Gavin Ween. I'm sorry, lane 6, Matt Andrasek. Gavin Weens is in lane 5 for the Wildcats. Coming in at that turn, it is Michael Bramer, followed closely by Braden Hagenbarth. Then over there in lane 6 is Matt Andrasek. All right, coming in for that last length here. Forgot to mention when we were talking about parental involvement, the backup is the hand button push and then also a stopwatch. So there's 2 timers in each lane as backup timers. Nice touch and good finish too there by Braden Hagenbarth. Well, Michael Brammer took that heat. It was a tie for second. 56.79, as you can see on your screen. How rare is that? All right, the scores are updated. Your Wildcats are down 36-42. But I believe that is just for, that doesn't include diving. I believe that's just includes the butterfly. So diving scores are not in yet. All right, for the Wildcats in lane 1 for this varsity is 8th grader Louis DeCordor. Lane 3, Thomas Keller. Lane 5, Johnny Mezaritsky. For the Lakers in lane 2, Owen Dwyer. Lane 4, Victor Trin. Lane 6, Levente Zabo. So coming out, wow, the Lakers are just really swimming strong with Victor Trin at the touch, with Owen Dwyer next. Thomas Keller in 3rd as of now. Wildcats in the 3, 4, 5 position. Mezaritsky hanging in there, as well as Louis DeCoiter. This race, though, belongs to Victor Trin. Coming in 1st, Owen Dwyer is 2nd, Thomas Keller 3rd, Johnny Mezaritsky 4th, and then Louis coming in 5th. Coming in 6th is Levante Zabo.
Event 15, the boys, 500-yard freestyle junior varsity.
All right, Jackson Keller was ready to go, but Chris Morgan had to remind him he will be swimming the varsity event tonight, not junior varsity. Jackson Keller was all ready to go, excited to swim for his first 500 freestyle here in this pool. Tender reminder, he'll be swimming varsity as a state champion from 2019. This is junior varsity only. 7th grader in lane 2 is Connor Kelsey. Lane 4 is Evan Schabel. So this is 20 lengths of the pool. Not an easy event at all. So 20 lengths of the pool. This will go about 7 minutes if all goes well. So an important race for Connor Kelsey, 7th grader in lane 2. Sophomore Evan Schabel in lane 4. So back to Jackson Keller. The diving scores coming in.
In 2nd place from Eagan, Sam Johnson with a 97.25. And in 1st place from Eagan, senior captain Alex Cahill with a 108.15. For varsity, in 5th place from Prior Lake with an 88.90, Luke Schwank. In 4th place from Prior Lake with a 111.40, Matthew Weinberger. In 3rd place from Eagan with a 192.70, Stone Larson. In 2nd place from Eagan with a 206.55, Owen Kipp. And in 1st place from Prior Lake with a 216.65, Blake Walden.
All right, want to repeat the diving scores there. And for the junior varsity, in 1st place was Alex Cahill. 2nd place was Sam Amon Johnson. For varsity this evening, 1st place with 216.65 points from Prior Lake is Blake Wallen. In 2nd place with 206.55 was Owen Kipp. 3rd place from Eagan, the 192.70 is Stone Larson. In 4th place from Prior Lake is Matthew Weinberger with a 111.3. And in 5th place for varsity, that is from Prior Lake as well, Luke Schwant. really excited that these Wildcat boys can not have so many restrictions this year. They'll be able to, or have potlucks and parent parties and kid parties again. It's good to see. I mean, the difference between, I'm a soccer guy myself, but what's nice about the sport of swimming is whether you're JV or varsity, you're practicing on the same team, swimming the same lengths, and you know, basically the phrase should be here at Eagan, live the legacy. I don't know if some of these younger guys quite understand the legacy that they have before them that they need to live up to. Eagan Swim and Dive has won the section the last 8 years in a row. 8 years they've been first in the section. That's carrying quite a load. And last year was a bit of a wash. There were no dual meets. It was basically time trials. They swam in empty lanes between them, loaded up times into the computer and did that, and didn't quite feel that real. So hopefully the legacy can continue on. That's a, you know, we're looking to the Keller boys to do some of that, because Jackson was around when things were more normal. We're looking to Harrison Bowie, another captain, senior captain, who was around. Some of these younger guys, you know, whether it be 10th graders or freshmen, just don't know some of the legacy. I know Alex Bango, the junior, understand what's before him. His mom is quite the leader, treasurer for many years on the Booster Club, and really does a nice job raising funds. So making sure this program stays going in the right direction. So and Reese Heenis Cook, in his, you know, third year in the program, also understands it. But yeah, a lot is riding on Johnny Mezritsky, and so, you know, we only have 9 seniors and juniors to try to live out this legacy that's before them. Have the Hour of Power, where everyone goes all out for 1 hour. You just fill each lane with as many swimmers as you got, and then you just go. It's a awareness for cancer research, a fundraiser of some sorts. Patrick O'Keefe was a father of Michaela O'Keefe, a girl swimmer, and then also a boy swimmer, Garrett O'Keefe. And the O'Keefes have started up a scholarship in memory of Lucky O'Keefe. No one could dress up like a leprechaun better than Lucky O'Keefe, for sure. So another tradition here at Eagan High School, as well as the alumni meet. So have one more lap to swim here. Quite an impressive time there in lane 4 for Evan Schabel, the sophomore, coming in at a 5:34.11. I mean, that's a varsity time right there. So not be interesting to, I'm actually going to document that, see how he would do with that 5:34.11 in the varsity heat tonight. Jackson Keller is the record holder of both the pool record and the boys record. Pool record's at 4:42.09, so that's what's on the line tonight. Not sure if Jackson is going to be going for that or saving it for the 4 free relay or not. We'll see how that plays out, but we'll track that. It's good to see Haycraft in the pool. His dad at one point was a head coach. His mom was the assistant. He is back in the assistant position. So for your Wildcats in lane 1, Aiden Smith. Previously mentioned lane 3, Jackson Keller. And lane 5, Mason Dietering. For the Lakers in lane 2, Zach Peterson. Lane 4, Reese Haycraft. Lane 6, Blake Vigor. Reese Haycraft in lane 4 has a lot on his shoulders. I mean, having a mom and a dad who are coaches, he definitely comes from the pedigree of swimmers. Jackson Keller's parents, on the other hand, both Paul and Jennifer, were not swimmers, but he has found his own way to be a successful racer nonetheless. Actually, Jennifer Keller is a fantastic actress and is in theater and is the head timer. So has 28.65 is the split there for Mr. Keller there. Wow, keeping that under 29 seconds. I mean, thinking back to that 50 free and that exhibition heat, a lot of those kids, you know, were going 35s. Jackson is going 8 seconds faster than that for 20 lengths of the pool. So definitely you're watching an elite swimmer. He has committed to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, which is a Big 12 school. So it's great to see him being able to not only swim here and live the legacy that we were talking about, but to continue on and help out with his college in the future. He's looking to be a business major. Jackson just going long and strong. Tender kick, 29.60, kind of a little bit slower there on the splits. Prior Lake is going 2.34 here. So even though Jackson would get first, they would outpoint us in this event. We're looking at the score here at 49-61. 49 for the Lakers, 61 for the, 49 for the Wildcats, 61 for the Lakers. That differential will, that chasm will increase even more after this event. As I mentioned, winning you get 6 points, but getting second, third, fourth, you get 9. So, doing a nice job in lane 1 there is Aiden Smith, getting a good kick off the wall. Mason Dietering, first year in the program as 9th graders. So this is, we're talking about living the legacy. You got 2 freshmen here who haven't competed for the Wildcats, doing a great job in a 500. Not an easy race at any age, especially your first year in the program. So as you're looking on this flip turn here, it's or you see, Jackson Keller in the middle of the pool, just doing a nice job, keeping a long, even stride. 30.17. That's his first one over that 30-second mark. Jackson did swim in that in the medley relay, so he will. Looking at kind of the back half of the meet here, the backstroke, Derek Bango, Miggy San Jose, and Riley McRoberts will be swimming the backstroke. Breaststroke will be Alex Bango, William Nguyen, Dabin Chong. Okay, the bell is about to ring here for Jackson Keller. Bell denotes that there's 1 lap left for the leader. There's that bell. Happy holidays, Jackson Keller, down and back, and you're done for this race. Speaking of the records, his pool record is a 4:42.99. Boys record, he has a 4:33.49. And you wonder, how can he swim at 9 seconds faster, not at this pool? We talked about fast pools. This is the slowest pool in the conference. Jackson touching in at a 4:53.29. Slowest pool in the conference, and U of M is a very fast pool. So when Jackson won the state meet in 2020, which is really the 2019 school year, it started, and then 2020, that was at the University of Minnesota when he was first in state. That's how you get a time that's 9 seconds faster than a pool record, as you swimming in a different pool that's faster when you're shaved and tapered. So that's really what is difficult about this sport. At every time you know exactly how you did the previous race. Nice touch in there by Mason Dietering. And coming in strong there in lane 1 is Aiden Smith. I mean, if you think about a basketball player, you don't know down to the 100th of a second or 100th of a degree, oh, did you have a better game or not? It's just kind of in your body of work over the last hour. You felt better, you looked better, things kind of went your way. In swimming, you're just exposed. Like, if you have a little burp or a little twitch or a cramp in your foot mid-meet, mid-race, that affects your time. And the whole world, all the parents know in the stands, based to the 100th of a second. So such a mentally draining sport, being a swimmer here. Here we are at the 2 free relay for junior varsity here. In lane 2, Matt Andrasik. Lane 3, Lucas Hanna. Lane 4, Tyler Long. Lane 5, Clark Amon Marshall. Lane 6, Nathan Wynn. Good to see the diver in the, see how we're doing here. Coming into lane 2 in the water now is Jack Wheelock. Lane 4, Joey Scapple. Lane 3 is Alex Cahill. Lane 4, Paz Budzin. Lane 6 for the Lakers is Harry Zhang. Good to see Captain Cahill, the diver, going all out. That's Hart. Boy, and he's actually making up a lot of ground. Alex going all out here, bringing the Wildcats back in this junior varsity race. But the first in the water here is in lane 2, Connor Kelsey. Lane 4, Joby Glashagel. Lane 3 taking over for Captain Cahill is Gavin Weens. Lane 6 is Sam Erickson. Diving into the water now in lane 5, Dylan Peterson. Captain Cahill was able to get that middle lane 3 relay out in front, and Gavin Weens kept it for them. That's Ethan Schumacher diving in the water. Lane 4 in is Rowan Wilson. Lane 2 is Tyler Simmons for the Lakers. Lane 6 diving in is Max Heitzman. Dylan Peterson in lane 5. Working hard, getting that in, waiting for that touch, and it's a fair touch in. Lane 5 is Michael Boom. Jim Marshall looking close at that relay. 2 times at the state meet, he disqualified a team from Eagan back-to-back years, so he looks as close as possible to DQ a relay, so it's good to have clean starts. Good race there, 2:02:40. That's a good time for junior varsity freestyle relay. This is sending us to the varsity relay. You don't see this often, but trying to get points. Points are doubled for the relays, and so you see 2 Kellers will be in this lane 3 middle lane here. For the Wildcats in lane 1, Louis Decatur. Lane 3, Thomas Keller. Lane 5, Dobbin Chong. For the Lakers in lane 2, Blake Vigor. Lane 4, Owen Dwyer. Lane 6, Alexander Beck. The race is in the middle. Thomas Keller just tailing a little bit. Owen Dwyer. Jackson Stout in the water for the Lakers. And in lane 2 is Alex Bango. For the Wildcats in lane 5, Harrison Bowie. Lane 2 for the Lakers, Zach Peterson. Lane 1, Kaldu Baracha Batuni. And lane 6 for the Lakers, Evan Schabel. Oh boy, we're keeping it close in the middle. The third swimmer diving in for the Wildcats is Derek Bango. Lane 4 is Griffin Lining. Bango needs to keep it close here so Jackson Keller can bring it home. Lane 6 is Gabriel Clayton for the Lakers. Lane 5, Ben Kearns is in the water. Lane 2, Michael Bramer. Lane 1, Braden Hagenbarth for the Wildcats. Doing a nice job here. Touching in, Jackson Keller's in the water. And then in lane lane 4, Victor Trin. Lane 1 diving in right now is William Wynn. Lane 2 for Prior Lake is Levente Zabo. And lane 5, Johnny Mezaritsky. So looks like the Wildcats touching in first. Lakers touching in second. It's getting tight for this third place. There's points on the table. Nicely done, Mr. Mezaritsky, snagging that second spot there. Wildcats before that event were down 56-70. Unofficially there. You know, that will be that should change to 66-72, but we'll see. All unofficial math there. Because first place in a relay is 8 points, second is 4, third is 2, so it'd be 66-74 unofficially. We're in the backstroke junior varsity here. Braden, the freshman, getting queued up. He's like, what the whoops, I just swam a 2 free relay, coach. That's all right, you're warmed up for this backstroke. Junior varsity in lane 1 for the Wildcats is Hannah. Lane 3, Braden Hegenbarth. Lane 5, Mason Dietering. For the Lakers in lane 2, Joshua Klo. Lane 4, Alex Prasanna. Lane 6, Alexander Searcy. All right, the only senior in the water right now is in lane 6 for the Lakers, Alexander Searcy. Nice long strokes there in lane 4 by Alex Prasanna. This is where the only time that the backstroke flags come into play here. You see the flags hanging above the pool. It's for when you're swimming backstroke, you have to count how many, and then you flip on your belly to do that flip turn, as you see. So if you haven't memorized and know exactly where you are on the wall, you can do a nice flip and a big kick off the wall. So always key to have a good push. Nice touch in by Prasanna there in lane 4 at a 104.78. Lane 2, Joshua Klo coasting in. Third place over there is Mason Dietering. Touch in lane 3 is Braden Hagenbarth. Lane 1, Lucas Hanna getting that kick in. How many strokes is he left? Nice finish underwater. Nicely done, Mr. Hanna. Okay, big event here. Eagan is, the score is official now. My math served me correctly. Thank you, North St. Paul High School. Mr. McCuskey, good arithmetic, and it's 66 for the Cats, 74 for the Lakers coming into this varsity backstroke. In lane 1 for your Wildcats is Riley McRoberts. Lane 3, Derek Bango. Lane 5, Miguel San Jose. Lane 2 is Braxton Helmers. Lane 4, Ethan Cosen. Lane 6, Jack Clay. Big event here if Eagan's going to try to keep it close in this back half of the meet here. Ethan Cosen doing a fine job in lane 4. Good push off that wall. Second in is Miguel San Jose. Third in is Jack Clay for the Lakers, and Miguel San Jose is in 4th place here. And my bad. It's Miguel San Jose is in 2nd. My apologies. It's Alex Bango in lane 3. Cosen coming, touching in first. And then it's Miguel San Jose. Lane 6 up top, it's Jack Clay. Touching in 5th place is Miguel San Jose. A bit of a surprise there. 6th place is in lane 1, Riley McRoberts for the varsity race. So that certainly will make it quite difficult going into this breaststroke to make up those points. Wildcats were looking to close the gap there. Instead, it kind of went the other way, so getting outpointed in that backstroke. This gets us to the 100-yard breaststroke junior varsity. For your Wildcats in lane 1 is 8th grader Louis Decatur. Lane 3, Kaldup Racha Batuni. Lane 5 is Neelan Ambalam. For the Lakers in lane 2, Nathan Wynn. Lane 4, Matt Andrasic. Lane 6, Rowan Wilson. Always tricky to try to get, both hands need to be on the wall before the flip turn. That's what the officials are looking for. Boy, that looked a little close there in lane 4 for Jackson Stout. I thought he had one hand. Not sure about that left hand, but not sure if Jim Marshall was looking real close there. I'm sorry, we're in the junior varsity, so that would be Matt Andrasic there on that touch. So Matt coming in strong here. Looks like he'll be finishing off this junior varsity breaststroke. Kaldup Racha Batunik says, I'll take second, thank you. Neelan Ambalam secures that 3rd place finish in JV. And in 5th place is Nathan Wend. 4th place was right, we got one more swimmer in the water in lane 6 there, Rowan Wilson. So relatively new breaststroker. So it's this point going into the varsity breaststroke. It's a 71.85. Unofficially, I have not seen the Lakers in my 14 years beat in a dual meet the Wildcats. So there is a upset in the making here, folks. Yeah, the depth of the Wildcats isn't quite as where it was in previous years. Prior Lake used to be in the small conference, Minneota. That was when Eric Rodin was the athletic director. Got them into the South Suburban Conference when Eden Prairie left. Since then, Prior Lake has grown tremendously. It's now the 2nd largest school in the state of Minnesota, only behind Wayzata High School, which fetches kids from Wayzata and Plymouth. This is your varsity 100-yard breaststroke. For your Wildcats in lane 1, William Wynn. Lane 3, Alex Bango. Lane 5, Dabin Chong. For the Lakers in lane 2, Levante Zabo. Lane 4, Jackson Stout. Lane 6, Adam Mellett. All right, nice long stroke by Alex Bango there in lane 1. Reaching out, scooping that water, kicking it back. Really nice. Gets both hands on that turn. Let's see how he does that now. Underwater, good pull out. There it is. Oh, very nice. Surprise in this race is William Wynn in lane 1. Really keeping pace at that 3rd position. Dabin Chong trying to hold on to that 5th place. Alex Bango leading this race. The longer the race goes, the more he pulls out in front. He's wishing this is a 200-yard breaststroke. And oh my Lanta, William Wynn and that outside smoke just getting it done. Bango touches in at 1st. 2nd place goes to Jackson Stout. 3rd goes to William Wynn. Nice race, guys. And 5th place in lane 5 is Dabin Chong. So all Wildcats swimmers scoring points there. Nice breaststroke race. I mean, I can't say enough about Alex Bango's stroke. I mean, just really reaching out, scooping, very efficient in the pullouts, and man, that was a really nice race. And not to be outdone was William Wynn in that lane 1, just doing a bang-up job. Who knew? seeing that outside smoke was just amazing. This is your 400-yard freestyle relay junior varsity. For your Wildcats in lane 3 in the water is Mason Dietering. Actually, there's only one Wildcat relay here tonight for the 4 free relay junior varsity. For the Lakers in lane 2 is Alex Prasanna. Lane 4, Evan Schabel. Lane 6, Philip Kamyakov. Kamyakov is coming in first on this after this first length. He sends off Connor Kelsey. Lane 2 is Gabriel Clayton, and lane 3, Neelam Ambalam in the water. Lane 4, Alexander Beck. Nice underwaters there, and lane 3 by Neelam Ambalam there. Good underwater there, coming out past the flags. That's an experienced swimmer. He comes out underwater, takes 2 strokes before he breathes, because the longer you can stay streamlined, the fewer strokes you have, the faster you go. And it's evidence here on how much Mr. Beck is pulling away here in lane 4, just doing a phenomenal job. On the blocks already in lane 4 for the Lakers is Joey Scapple diving in. Lane 2, Jack Wheelock in the water for the Lakers. Oop, lost his goggles. Touched the bottom of the pool. That should be a disqualification, but we'll see where that goes. Lane 6 diving in is Joby Glashagel. And lane 3 for your Wildcats is Riley McRoberts. Solid start there. He'll be gaining tons of ground here. Good flip turn by McRoberts. Dylan Peterson in lane 3 is excited for this race. The guys are saying, hey, just so you know, McRoberts has to swim 100, don't dive in. But Peterson just getting a good view of that flip turn. So McRoberts doing a really nice job here, trying to bring the Wildcats back in this final race for junior varsity. He's going to make up tons of ground, and Peterson, it's up to you to finish this off. All right, your next swimmers in the water are going to be first in lane 4, Harry Zhang. Slide start on lane 2 is Sam Erickson. And as we mentioned, Dylan Peterson's raring to go in lane 3. Smooth stroke, little Tarzan stroke, puts a head down a little again. Like to see Peterson try to do less of the Tarzan stroke where he's looking out in front of him. Just keep that streamline going if possible, but that comes with a little experience, but doing a good job. There's so much science in this, and you know, you look at boats and how streamlined they are, and you know, having 3 boys that have gone through this program, Eli Anders and Hans, and looking at the bodies that they get just from swimming, I decided to start swimming in my 50s, and you know, I burn a ton more calories than these guys because I'm so inefficient in the stroke. But if you want to be fast, you want to just barely turn your head and keep it, you know, just as straight as possible. Touching in first here in lane 4 is your A relay for junior varsity. Zhang taking it. Peterson going hard there in lane 3 for the Wildcats, but it will be Sam Erickson touching in for that second place. Peterson for the Wildcats for third. 81.91 going into the 400-yard freestyle relay. 81.91, so that makes it, if the Eagan relay goes 1-2 here, they will get 12 points. And Lakers will get 2 and it'll be tied up. So the only way that the Wildcats cannot win this, not lose, is to go 1-2 in the relay. And obviously the coaches have to submit their lineups before the race, so coach can't balance out the relay a whole lot. Now it looks like he's already used up Jackson Keller, so there are no Kellers left to swim. So going in first though, in for your Wildcats in lane 3, Miggy San Jose. Lane 5, Aiden Smith. Lane 2 for the Lakers, Griffin Lining. Lane 4, Owen Dwyer. Lane 6, Reese Haycraft. Miggy doing a nice job keeping it close. Dwyer's a powerful swimmer. His older brother went to the University of Green Bay Phoenix on a D1 scholarship. Dwyer, rich name and swimming history at Prior Lake. Oh, Miggy doing a nice job. Stroke for stroke on that pullout. Boy, his underwaters are good. He's so good off the walls, making him just a fine short course swimmer. And on the blocks is Caden Shang for the Lakers. Lane 3 in the water, Derek Bango. Lane 2 now diving in is Zach Peterson. Lane 5 is William Nguyen. Lane 6 is Adam Mellett. Doing a good job hanging in there is Derek Bango. He's within a body length. Let's see how he does off this wall. Caden Sheng is such a solid swimmer. Very good off the wall there for Bango. Doing a nice job. Bango hanging tight. It's clear at this point that Eagan will not be tying this meet. They will not be going 1-2. Now it's like, can we go 1? Mezareski on the blocks in lane 3, but it's Blake Vigor in the water first in lane 4. Mezareski in next in lane 3. Mezareski has it in him, I do know that. Lane 2 diving in is Braxton Helmers, the 8th graders. Lane 6 next in is Tyler Long, and lane 5 is Reese Heenis Cook for the Wildcats. Mezareski losing space on Vigor in lane 4. Mezareski does a nice off the wall. Like to see Mezareski not breathe when he flip turns. You lose that streamline. Watch Mezareski in lane 3 here. He does a nice turn, but he comes up for air right away. Don't get that air. Do another stroke. Mezareski, despite that, is bringing it home. He is keeping it close, and this race is going to come down to senior captain, lane 3, Harrison Bowie, going against Ethan Cosen. Boy, it's going to be tight. Bowie going off like a rocket there. Coming in lane 2 now is Michael Bramer for the Lakers. Bowie is losing some ground there in lane 3. In the water now in lane 5 is Dabin Chong. Lane 6 is Jack Clay. Bowie had a great start. Is still within a half body length. Now it's a body length. It's Bowie is more of a long distancer, so to make this up in 25 yards would be amazing. He's doing a great job nonetheless. I like taking that stroke off that streamline. All right, good job, Harrison Bowie coming in. But it is Ethan Cosen, the freshman, touching in first for Prior Lake. And then it is Bowie coming in that second relay. So it'll be 4 points for the Wildcats. And the Lakers will get 10 points. So the final score of this meet will be 101-85. And sometimes they exhibition the last one, but it will be a 101-85 race. So always exciting when it gets down to the last 400 freestyle relay. So really good race. It does show that Prior Lake is top notch here in the South Suburban Conference. They are in a different section than the Eagan Wildcats. So we appreciate Sandy Setter, the athletic director at Eagan High School. We appreciate you watching. And thank you for watching ETV. ETV, we thank you very much for broadcasting this for our community and showcasing some of the student athletes that we have here. This is Gus Broman for ETV. A thanks to Margie Broman on camera 1. Be joyful, stay positive. Go Wildcats.